Hey guys, Inder this side from 24/7 everything. Hope you all are doing great. We are again back with another video and this time it's on Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1 related to a new custom ROM that is Legion OS with the version 2.10 or I would say 2.10. So build date is of July 25th, 2020. Security patch level 5 July 2020. A part of this kernel version is 4.4.231. Android 10 base ROM. Then CPU Snapdragon 636. Maintainer name is Prabhat 774, and then SC Linux status is permissive and build number is Legion underscore X and something up to the double Q38 and dot 200 and so on. And apart to this particular ROM like again have some sort of touch and feels like a OnePlus ROM and so on. So whosoever has already used OnePlus ROM, they will see some sort of similarity in that. So let's begin with the overall review part. So firstly, we'll move to the system to see what else has been provided. So the very basic thing is that yes, photo updater is available, or I would say OT updater is available. But whenever I'll be checking this, I'm not sure whether it is working or not because this is the very first time I'm using this ROM. If afterwards someone will be using it and they will be getting any update after using this OT updater, then do mention it in the comment section below so that it will be beneficial for the other users as well. So after OTA update or photo update, now let's move to the ZenPart option or ZenPart section. So this is a delight for our users who really love ZenPart. So they have provided a lot of things like Spectrum profiles, ASUS and sound and like enhancer and so on. Apart to this, few other things as well. So whosoever loves it, they can play with it, and afterward they can share their feedback in the comment section below. And aside to this, now we'll move to the security section. So the best thing is that fingerprint scanner is working absolutely fine. Face unlock is working absolutely fine. Apart to this, swipe, pin, pattern, password, all are working absolutely fine. So there is no glitch, no problem with it. Even there is hardly a 1 millisecond of latency in fingerprint. And again, that is like 2 out of 100 or 3 out of 100, not more than that. So after security, now let's move to the storage section. So basically there is a bug with the portable storage, I would say micro SD card or SD card. So it always show you corrupted, and do not even try to like format using this particular ROM. Otherwise you can see like I would say glitches or bugs in your SD card after using on some other ROM and so on. So in past 2 to 3 months, like I would say nearly about 3 to 4 ROMs, whichever I have, I have encountered this particular SD card related issue. So not sure why custom ROM developers are unable to resolve this issue. So hopefully in the next build, they will be able to resolve this. Now let's move to the display section, and in display section, we'll discuss about the lock screen display. So the very first thing is that show lockdown option. So I've just turned it on and it is able to view it here. If I'll turn it off, then it will be hidden. So I always prefer this part. Apart to this, always on display and new notification with respect to always on, both are working absolutely fine. Let me turn it on and I'll show you. So I've just unlocked my phone and it is showing this always on display with this clock setting and date and so on. Now after display section, now let's talk about the most vital or important part, that is battery section. So I would say this particular ROM is having decent battery backup. And now let's focus on the battery matrix or analysis. So firstly, we'll discuss about the charging time. So it took nearly about sometime 3 hours, sometime 3 hours, 2 minutes. So I have noted down as a max number of hours or minutes to charge. So it is 3 hours and 2 minutes to fully charge my phone from 0 to 100%. And again, let me confirm you one more thing, that I am using compatible 10-watt charger rather than a default charger that was shipped with this particular phone. So whenever you will be charging with that, you can see like more time to charge and so on. So after battery charging, now let's focus on the ideal battery drainage. So again, I have analyzed this 2 to 3 days, and each and every time, sometime it was showing me 3 to 4 hours, sometime 4 to 5 hours. So again, I'm taking as a maximum part. So 4 to 5% battery will be drained over a span of 8 to 9 hours. So I would say this is a decent one with respect to the my phone's age. It is almost 2 years now, and with the software update from Asus, which has made this device sometime like literally a useless thing. But hopefully with the custom ROM developer, we are able to use it properly and so on. Now from after battery charging and ideal battery drainage, now let's move to the consumption part from the gaming section. So for that, if you are aware, I usually analyze battery consumption on a basis of two popular games. One is PUBG Mobile and another is Call of Duty. Let me open PUBG Mobile first. So battery consumption with respect to PUBG Mobile. So I was using these as in graphic settings and frame rate setting, like graphic as an HD and high frame rate. So during a gameplay of 1 hour, so for that I have played this game like nearly about 2 to 3 times again with the 1 hour of gameplay to see what would be the maximum battery consumption which will be faced. So most of the time it was sometime 13 to 14, and at most it has gone to nearly about 14 to 15% of battery was drainage, or I would say drained over a span of 1 hour of gameplay. And apart to this, I've also noted down the battery read, or I would say temperature reading. So before starting the gameplay, the temperature of my phone was 33 degree, and as soon as I completed 1 hour of gameplay, so it was increased to nearly about 39 degrees and so on. And apart to this, there is no lag in gameplay and so on, so gameplay is smooth. Now let's focus on the Call of Duty. So again, battery consumption with respect to Call of Duty. Again, I have played 2 to 3 times the same length of matches, that is 1 hour of gameplay, with these particular graphic qualities and frame rate. So high frame rate, medium graphic quality, and sometime it has drained 12 to 13%, and sometime 13 to 14. So I'm taking as a maximum. So it is 13 to 14% of battery was drained over a span of 1 hour of gameplay. And temperature readings of phone were like before starting the gameplay it was 34 degree, and as soon as I completed 1 hour of gameplay it was 40 degrees. So it is having like in most of the cases like temperature readings are higher as compared to PUBG Mobile for Call of Duty. So after battery consumption or battery metrics or analysis, now let's move to the network and internet. So firstly, Wi-Fi calling, yes, it is available and it is working fine for both Jio and Airtel. Hardly 1% chance that it is not working. So I think this is negligible. Apart to this native video call, I do see an option for the operator video calling, but it never showed me an option whenever I was calling someone. So like a operator video calling, but it was not showing me that particular. So not sure whether it is working or not. If whenever you will be testing this particular ROM, if it's working, then do confirm us in the comment section below. That will surely be helpful for the others whenever they'll be watching this particular video. Apart to this, there is no provision for the call recorder or call recording functionality. But the good thing is that I haven't faced any glitch or bug or any latency in terms of Wi-Fi connectivity, mobile internet, even calls and SMS, all are working absolutely fine. So after mobile and internet, or I would say network and internet, now let's move to the connected devices. So usually I do check two different things. One is Bluetooth and another is screencasting. So Bluetooth is working absolutely fine, be it for file transfer or audio via Bluetooth devices. But this time screencasting is not working in this particular room. So whenever I try to connect my phone restart, so it's a bug in terms of screencasting. So if someone wants to love to do screencasting on a daily basis, then it will be a disappointing for them. So now let's move to the advanced customization part. So for that, Legion OS ROM developer has provided us Legion settings. So you can see bunch of settings like quick settings, status bar, lock screen, gestures, theming, notification, buttons, power menu, navigation bar, animation, additional settings, and so on. But in this particular ROM, I would say in this particular video, we'll be just touching very important parts. So let's first focus on the quick settings. So first thing is like disable quick settings when logged. So now my phone has been logged. If I'll try to do quick setting, it is like logged. If I'll turn it off, then I'll be able to play with the quick setting. So it depends upon you whether you want to choose or not, but I prefer always like this from a security's point of view. Apart to this system info, where I'm showing battery temperature and then data usage, monthly usage, daily usage, and so on. So let me show you. So in this particular quick setting section, it is showing me the temperature of the phone, the battery temperature, that is 38 degree, and the monthly usage that I have done till date, that is 13.71 GB, and so on. So again, if you find it useful, you can turn it, because you will be touching quick settings at least 80 to 90% of time whenever you will be unlocking your phone. So it will always remind you in terms of data users if you are on a restricted data plans like mobile data and so on. So after quick setting, now let's move to the status bar section. So very first thing is status bar icons. So everything has been turned on whatsoever I use, but let me show you by turning it off. So by default you are able to view this Wi-Fi connection or icon. Let me turn it off and it has been removed from the status bar. I'll turn it off or turn it on again and it will be shown. Afterward, now let's focus on the clock settings. So the very first thing is that clock. So by default it is showing on left hand side. Let me turn it on the center so it will be moved to center. I can also move it to the right hand side and it will be after battery percentage and so on. So again it depends upon you, but I usually prefer on a left hand side. And afterward, network traffic indicator, so you can turn it on. I've turned it on and this always help me in terms of knowing the speed or what's the packet limit going up, down and so on, like uploading and downloading and so on. Apart to this, now let's focus on the battery icon style. So the very first thing is battery style. So I prefer icon portrait. You can change it like circle, so that has been changed and so on. Apart to this, do you want to show the percentage? If you'll hide it, then it will remove that 92%. If you will next to icon, then it will show on. So again, minor customization parts if you want to look into this part. So after status bar, now let's move to the gesture. So first thing would be AOSP gesture. So nothing major is mentioned, such like simple system navigation. So for the videos part, I always prefer 3-button navigation. But if you are Android 10 lover or Android 10 user, you will be using gesture navigation or 2-button navigation and so on. And apart to this, swipe to screenshot. So it like using 3 finger you can take a screenshot. If you turn it off, then you won't be able to do it. And last part is like what type of screenshot you want, like full screen or as in partial and so on. So like I did this part and so on. So it will sometime takes time to make changes. So overall it is working absolutely fine. So after gestures, now let's move to the theming part. So usually in majority of the custom ROMs, you will see the like minor customization in terms of styles and wallpaper in the display section, but ROM developer has kept a different section that is theming. So first is styles and wallpaper. You can select the clock setting. So like I have already shown you that I am using this as a clock setting, but let me do it analog and apply it. So now it's analog, so you can change this. And apart to this wallpaper whatsoever, so I'm just using the default on device wallpaper, but this ROM also shipped with one wallpaper app which we will be discussing later on. Apart to this headline or a body font, so by default I'm using device default. So let me select maybe Sony Sketch. So it has been changed to this part. Let me change some other one, maybe Noto Serif. So it is Noto Serif. So you can again play with it according to your likings and so on. Apart of this icon shape, I always prefer teardrop. That is my favorite. But just for your like confirmation, let me show you. So this is teardrop, and let me change it to maybe rounded rectangle. So it has been changed to rounded rectangle and so on. And apart of this status bar icon, you can change these as well. Like by default it is showing me like device default. Now if I'll change rounded, you will see some change. Let me change it to filled. So you will see this Wi-Fi icon will be changed and so on. And last thing in status bar is related to status bar height. So by default I'm using device default. Let me change it. Now you will see here the change between the status bar height. So I've changed it extra large so that the height of status bar has been increased. So if I'll make it smaller, then it will be move upward. So after theming, now let's move to the power menu. So in power menu, you can see these power menu items. So by default, reboot, advanced reboot, lockdown, and so on. So let me show you that as well. But let me turn on flashlight, and this particular option will be available as well. And a part of this lock screen options, so do you want to show these things or not? So like I've turned it on advanced reboot. Now let me reboot my phone, and now it is showing me advanced reboot. So again, it's your wish to turn it on. Usually depend on the basis of privacy and security and so on. So after power menu, now let's move to the navigation bar. So very first thing is that do you want to enable navigation bar? So let me turn it off and this will be hidden. If I'll turn it on again and it will be shown. Apart to this system navigation, so again this we have already covered in the AOSP gestures part, so I'm just skipping this. Apart to this navigation bar tuner, so let me show you. So first is layout. So this is a normal layout. Let me do compact and it will be squeezed. Afterward left leaning, so it will be for the left part, and right leaning, so lean to the right. But let me change to normal, and afterward you can even play with the like navigation editors, so whatsoever button you want to show. And afterward the last part is invert layout, so by default it is back here and recent here. If I'll turn it off, these two will be shuffled, so again it will be changed. So last part is related to additional settings. So nothing major is here, just a gaming mode that is known as fanatic mode. That's why in the starting I mentioned you will be seeing some similarity with respect to the OnePlus ROM and so on. So now let's focus on the quick settings. So all the major, minor, simple, advanced settings have been provided by developer to us. So all are working absolutely fine. I really like this system device, or I would say system themes. So let me open it. So it has bunch of options for the device like theming. So let me do dark gray. Now system white color would be changed to dark gray. Let me change it to maybe Choco X. So it's like Choco X, and let me change it to maybe light again, just for the videos perspective. So you can play with this. Apart of this, as I've told you earlier, the fanatic mode, so you can turn it on and you can play with the game. Even this will be helpful for if you want to add some other apps which are graphic intensive, or where you want to have a greater performance, you can turn it on and add those apps. Apart of this AOD, yes, it is also provided in quick setting as well. You can turn it on, turn it off, and so on. The best part is related to this ROM is screen recorder, so it is working absolutely fine, be it for internal audio, be it for surroundings, which include internal audio. Apart to this, your voiceover and so on. So after quick setting, now let's move to the play protection certification part. So the good thing is that device is certified by default, so I haven't turned it like done at my side by going into the magics and so on. So this was by default. Afterward, the major part would be related to the firmware version. So the minimum version required for this particular like ROM is 059. Basically, I think it will be working with the 058, but I always prefer 059 from the PIES version. So it is working. So you can use either 059 or any other, or more than that, like 060, 61, whatsoever. It will be compatible, but it will be giving best result with the 059. So after this, now let's discuss about the default apps which are shipped with this particular ROM. I'll also show you after installation part as well, like what are the bare bone structure or default apps. So all are minor, like Camera Go as in stock camera, then Launcher as in their default launcher with this particular ROM. Then this is a L paper, that's a wallpaper app. You can select any wallpaper and you will be able to set it on a home screen or login screen. And apart of this, FM radio is working absolutely fine. So all in all, every app which has been shipped with this particular ROM is working. There is no glitch with any of those. So after this, now let's focus on the status of camera to API. So by default it is available with the level 3 support, so nothing there is no problem with that, like you have to enable, and majority of the custom ROMs comes with the camera to API by default. So apart to this, now focus on the status of Wide1 certification. So at my side it is L3, and it has been persisting since the time I have flashed Android 10 beta 1 version with the version number 407 in custom ROM. So afterward I never got back to the L1. But if at your side it is L1, prior to installation it will be keep on L1. And apart to this, this is a stock camera, that is Google Camera Go, and this is a Gcam, and I'll be providing you the link in the installation part on our official blog, and you can download it the same. So after this particular status of camera to API Wide1 certification, now let's move to the benchmark scores. So firstly, let's open AnTuTu benchmarks. So on my screen, you are able to view that overall score is 1,47,121, and below ones are the consolidated from the CPU, GPU, memory management, UX, and so on. Apart of this, now let's move to the Geekbench 5 scores. So from a single core score side, so 277 is a single core score, and 1238 is a multi-core score. Apart to this, from a computations part using OpenCL, it is showing us 440. And from last 3 to 4 months, whenever I'm trying computation on the basis of Vulkan API, it is almost failing for each and every ROM, be it stock ROM or any custom ROM. So not sure why it's not working. Maybe they might have changed something in the paradigm which is not compatible with this and so on. But whenever it will be available, I'll surely be discussing that as well. So after this, now let's move to the RAM management. So just to summarize you one thing, like before jumping into the and like benchmark scores, I have opened the PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty in the background to show you that how the RAM and memory management will be working. So just for that part, let me open first PUBG Mobile. So before discussing the Enter2 benchmark score, I have like purposely started this to so that I will be able to show you that RAM is working absolutely fine, or I would say RAM and memory management is working absolutely fine. Let me open Call of Duty as well. So it has also opened from the same window where I have left. And apart of this, we can also try with some other apps like we were discussing Geekbench. So it is from the same screen where we have left over. Even it will be best for the Enter2 as well, but it will trigger something and it will move to the same screen again. And a part of this, we were discussing status of Wide1 certification and then camera to API. Then I think we can discuss firmware version and so on. So overall, each and every bit is working fine in terms of memory management or main memory management or RAM management. Now, before we jump into the installation part, let me give you my overall review score for this particular ROM with respect to all goods and bad. So overall, it is having like I'll be giving it 80 out of 100. So I'm cutting 20 because of those screencasting issue, then unable to access SD card and few other things as well, but good things like decent battery backups and so on. So 80 is a decent score for this particular ROM. Now let's move to the installation part. So before we jump into the TWRP mode, let's discuss where to download this particular ROM and so on. So for that, I've already opened like my official blog where I've already created a dedicated article for the same. So nothing major has been mentioned, few minor links like this is a link to download ROM, so no need to flash GApp separately because it's a GApp variant. Then Magix 20.4 optional if you want to root it. Google Camera link that we have already discussed that I'll be providing you in the installation section. So this is what. Then few prerequisite like backup your data, charge your phone's battery at least 50% or more, but I always recommend 80%, and even you can see that I am having 91 at this moment, like 91%. Firmware version we have already discussed that we need 0.59. If you want to view more videos, then you can search it on our channel. Bootloader should be unlocked of your phone. Then TWRP custom recovery should also be installed. If you're not aware, then we have already provided you the helping videos. Finally, the installation of Legion OS 2.10 ROM using TWRP custom recovery mode. Firstly, format data, then wipe cache, Dalvik data and system vendor partition is optional. Install or flash the Legion OS 2.10 ROM. Afterwards, just reboot the phone and complete the phone setup. And this is precautionary note in yellow. Like you just have to wait for 10 to 15 minutes. If it is taking more than that, then just restart the phone and it will fasten the process. So last but not least is the finally enjoy the beauty of Android 10 with respect to Legion OS 2.10 ROM on your beloved handset, that is Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1. And these are our social handles. You can either subscribe us or follow us on this. And now let's jump into the TWRP mode. Let me tap on advanced reboot recovery, and within next 1 minute we will be booted to the TWRP recovery mode and we'll initiate the installation process. So finally we have been booted to the TWRP recovery mode, and you can see this is a by default UI or a home screen. So firstly, according to blog, we have to tap on wipe, and afterward we have to tap on format data. Just type yes, and just for the precautionary note, just take backup of your everything, otherwise it will be deleted from your internal storage. So it will hardly take 5 to 10 seconds to format, and it is done. Now we have to again go back, again back. Now this time we have to tap on advanced wipe. Just select 4 different partition: Dalvik, cache, data and system. Vendor partition is optional. You want, you can do it. Swipe to wipe again, hardly it will take 5 seconds, not more than that. Now you have to move to the home screen. Here you have to tap on install button. Afterward you have to select storage. So at my side I've already selected micro SD card. If you are using OTG pen drive, then you can select this, but in my case, as I've told you that I'm using SD card, so I'm selecting this and going back. So this is that particular ROM which is with the GApps variant, that is Legion OS with this. So let me tap it here and confirm to flash it. So now it will take nearly about 7 to 8 minutes to complete this particular whole installation process. So just for the safer side, do not play with volume rocker buttons or either with power button. Either it will hard break your phone or soft break your phone. So just wait till the time this particular process will be completed. So finally the installation process has been completed and you are able to view that script succeeded updating. So now we are having two different options. One is rebooting system and another is wipe cache Dalvik. So let me just tap on wipe cache Dalvik. I always prefer to do this so that all the junk files which have been created or accumulated in this particular installation process will be cleared out. Now we are good to go with the reboot system. So it will take nearly about 2 to 3 minutes or at max 5 minutes to initiate the phone setup process. So let's wait till the time we move to that screen. So finally the phone setup process has been initiated. So according to my mobile carrier or carrier, it is able to know that English India. So let me tap on start button. So according to my likings, I'm just selecting those preferences. So just to speedify, let me enter the Wi-Fi credentials. So after successfully entering the Wi-Fi credential, now it is checking for update, and this will take some time because if there will be any pending upload, this will be installed in this section. So just wait till the time it will move to the next screen or next section. Copy apps and data. So in this particular section, I am just selecting don't copy. If you want to download something from Google Cloud platform that you have already backup, then you can choose that. So this is a vital part. So whenever you will be flashing any custom ROM, you should be aware about the last set pin, password, pattern, whatsoever you have. And a part of this, if you are not, if you have forgot that, then you should be remember about the last associated Google account. So at my side, let me enter the last set pin. So if it will be legit, then it will be moved to the next screen. So just to cut down the time, I'm just skipping the Google account setup process. So let's do it as soon as possible so that we can speedify the overall process. So I've already done analyze the fingerprint scanning and so on. So I will be skipping that, just entering the pin. So we are almost on a verge of completion of this particular installation process. So let me tap next. And finally we will be booted to the home screen. So as I've told you earlier that the default launcher associated with this ROM is launch here. So let me allow it. And apart to this, these are the already shipped apps or a bare bone structure with this particular shipping ROM. Let me confirm you again that we are on a same ROM. So Legion OS version 2.10 and so on. So this was all from my side related to the review and installation part of a Legion OS version 2.10 ROM on our beloved handset, that is Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1. Hope you like this video. If you really like this video, kindly share this with your friends and family. And apart from this, please subscribe to our channel because this will surely motivate us and boost us to create more videos like this in the coming future. Finally, it's the time to sign off now. Bye for now. Thanks.